and welcome to the very first episode of the Utilities Decoder, your go-to place to decode water, electricity, gas, and everything in between. Have you ever looked at your energy bill and thought, what does this all mean? You're not alone, and we're here to break it down simply and clearly. Let's dive right in and get started having you speak utilities like a pro. Let's kick off with something that we all deal with. Tariffs. Your electricity tariff, which is basically the price plan or rate that you're on, is decided by your power supplier. Whether that be directly through Eskom or your local municipality, as well as how your property is connected to the grid. Here's a little known fact. Your circuit breaker, that's the little switch which cuts the power when there's too much current, actually plays a big role. Now its size, measured in amps, determines your connection size. And that ultimately determines which tariff you qualify for. Now, if that leaves you wondering, how do I know what my demand size is? You can calculate it using a simple formula. But you first need to know, do you have single or three-phase electricity? Single phase is more common in homes and three-phase in businesses. Once you know that, we can convert amps to kilowatts or kilovolt amperes. That's kW or kVA. Confused? Don't worry, we're going to dive deep into that in an upcoming episode. What is kWh? Right, let's talk about kWh. That's kilowatt hour. This is the actual amount of electricity that you use and what you're mostly being billed for. Imagine running a 1000 watt heater. That's 1 kilowatt for an hour. This is equal to 1 kilowatt multiplied by 1 hour gives us 1 kilowatt hour or 1 kWh. So if we translate that to your tariff, if your tariff says R2.50 per kWh, that means for each hour that you are running that heater, you're being charged R2.50. This is the bread and butter of your energy bill, especially for homes and partially for businesses too. Capacity versus demand charges. Now this is where it gets a bit trickier, but don't worry, we're going to make it simpler for you. There are two terms that sound similar but mean two different things. We have capacity or notified demand and demand charge. Capacity demand is the maximum amount of power you tell the authorities that you need. Let's say, for example, you're a business and you sign a contract for 350 kVA. If in the month you only use 280 kVA, you unfortunately will still be liable for the full cost of the 350 kVA. And that is because the utility builds infrastructure such as cables and transformers to be able to withstand those maximum loads. Great. Now demand charge, on the other hand, is the highest point of electricity that you use in a month. Now these peaks are normally measured in 30-minute intervals. If we were to take a practical example, such as the local spa in your neighborhood, these stores and establishments normally use an average of around 280 kVA in a month. If the store were to peak at 280 kVA for that month, and the rate was 150 rands per kVA, this would mean that we would need to multiply the 280 kVA by the 150 rands. It gives us a total of 42,000 rands for the month. Can you just imagine what some of these shopping malls and big centers are paying? Before we get too far ahead, let's take a moment to thank today's sponsor for making this episode possible. UMFA is currently celebrating 20 years and has the utility intelligence to power your performance. Feel free to check out their website by following the link in the description. UMFA, the power behind your business. Alrighty, next up, let's talk about the difference between a flat rate and time of use, or TOU. So with a flat rate, it's simple. You pay the same price per kilowatt hour no matter what time of day you use it. A flat rate might change seasonally, such as a higher rate in winter and a lower rate in summer, but it remains one rate 24/7. Time of use, however, is split into three different time slots: peak, standard, and off-peak. With peak, this is when demand is at its highest and electricity is most expensive. Standard, that's the mid-range, and then off-peak, at night or early mornings when the usage is low and prices are at their cheapest. This setup rewards you for using electricity at quieter times, helping the grid stay balanced. Finally, let's take a look at the four main electrical tariff categories. These determine what kind of rate you get based on who you are and how much power you use. Number 1, residential. For households, simple structures, mostly flat rates and time of use. Number 2, small businesses. For startups, shops, with a slightly higher usage. Number 3, medium businesses. Think warehouses, bakeries, and workshops with machinery. Number 4, large business and industrial. Big users such as factories, mines, and shopping centers. These guys get charged for peak demand, capacity, and more. Each one of these groups has its own pricing structures and rules. Great, and there you have it. You've just taken your first steps in being able to speak utilities like a pro. You now know what a kilowatt hour is, how tariffs are structured, what demand charges mean, and how to start reading in between the lines in your utilities bills. Next time on the Utilities Decoder, we're going to be diving deeper into those 4 tariff categories, as well as probably the most commonly asked question within the industry. So make sure you don't miss out. If you guys have found this helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe, and feel free to share this with anybody who's ever been confused about reading their utilities bills. Until then, stay informed, stay efficient, and stay empowered. Thanks for watching.